right, deep divers, ready to dive into the world of cement.
Always ready.
Today, we're looking at UltraTech Cement Ltd.
A giant in the industry.
For sure. And we're going deep, using their 2024 annual general meeting notice and their latest business responsibility and sustainability report.
Two great resources to really understand UltraTech.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
More than just how much cement they're making,
Right. We'll see their financial performance.
but also their strategy in this ever-changing world.
Exactly. How they're growing yet staying sustainable.
And keeping those profits strong in a tough market.
It's fascinating stuff.
It is. Okay, let's start with the people in charge. Always interesting.
Makes sense.
We've got a new chief marketing officer, Vivek Agrawal.
Interesting.
And what caught my eye is his background.
Tell me.
Strong digital marketing. Led big campaigns for major brands.
Could this mean a change in UltraTech's marketing?
Right. Maybe more targeted, data-driven approaches.
Makes sense given the digital shift everywhere.
Even in cement, as traditional as it seems.
True. So, are we going to see UltraTech ads on social media now?
Maybe. But let's stick with leadership for a sec.
Okay.
Mr. Kailash Chandra Shanwar, reappointed as managing director.
I know, I saw that.
The report mentions some perks of his position.
Oh, like what?
2 company cars, memberships to a couple of corporate clubs.
Those perks might actually reveal something
I was thinking the same thing.
about the company's leadership culture.
Yeah, it's like they value work-life balance.
Right, recognizing leaders need time to recharge.
Network outside of work. It's a small detail.
But it tells us something.
Exactly. Reading between the lines, getting their personality.
Agreed.
And speaking of personalities, we can't forget Mrs. Zita Ramachandran.
The new independent director, right?
Yep, joining the board. Her resume is seriously impressive.
I was just looking at it, wow.
Served on boards of some of India's biggest companies.
So she brings huge expertise to UltraTech's board.
In corporate governance, financial management.
Really valuable, and it shows their commitment to diversity.
At the highest level, too.
Absolutely.
Okay, so a strong leadership team.
Ready to steer UltraTech through some interesting times.
For sure. The report talks about the global economy.
Right, more resilient than some expected.
But also acknowledges the challenges in India.
With their fast-paced infrastructure development.
Exactly. Which is where UltraTech's story gets really interesting.
I was just thinking that they're vital for India's growth.
They are, providing the building blocks, literally.
Roads, bridges, housing, you name it.
So they're not just selling cement, they're selling progress.
Powerful way to put it.
But they're not just about growth at all costs.
No, they're emphasizing sustainability.
And not just talk, they're taking action.
What impresses me is how they're weaving it into everything they do.
Right. Not a separate thing, but part of their strategy.
And it's working. Look at their ranking.
#1 cement manufacturer in India for sustainability.
And number 3, globally. Excluding China, of course.
Yeah, but still incredible. I was struck by their green logistics.
The push towards CNG, LNG, even electric trucks.
And it's not just for show, they're seeing real benefits.
Right, like their pilot program with electric trucks.
Lower emissions, lower costs, faster turnaround times.
Proof that sustainability can boost profits, too.
A win-win for them and the environment.
Exactly, and they're not stopping there.
No, they're all in on RE100.
Investing heavily in solar and wind energy.
Even looking at cutting-edge stuff like Coolbrook's RDH technology.
Wow, using renewable energy to make cement, no fossil fuels.
They're serious about leading the industry's low-carbon shift.
They are, and it's not just about their own footprint.
Right, they're working with suppliers, too.
To make the whole supply chain more sustainable.
A ripple effect. It's great. And speaking of ripple effects...
Their water management is making a difference.
Yeah, in the communities where they operate.
Like that Mehar cement plant.
Reusing gray water from a nearby village.
Benefits everyone. The community and the environment.
They're not just taking resources, they're giving back.
Exactly, a positive impact.
All right, so we've seen their approach to sustainability.
Now let's see how that connects to their financials.
Let's dive into their revenue and volume growth.
See how their sustainability efforts are paying off.
The report highlights their capacity expansion.
Across different regions, right?
Yep, they've been strategically adding capacity.
To tap into India's construction boom, makes sense.
New plants, grinding units, bulk terminals, they're everywhere.
Smart, given India's diverse regional markets.
But capacity is only good if you use it.
Did the report say how well they're using it?
They did. They mentioned commissioning 2.7 MTPA.
MTPA.
Million tons per annum greenfield cement capacity.
Wow, where?
Karur in Tamil Nadu and Kukurdi in Chhattisgarh.
So a total of 5.4 MTPA just in April 2024.
Yep. Plus, they're expanding their grinding unit at Tool
In Maharashtra, right?
from 1.8 MTPA to 3.6 MTPA.
That's huge. They're expecting a surge in demand.
And they're ready to grab a bigger market share.
Smart move. Now let's talk profit margins.
It's a key area.
Cement's sensitive to energy and raw material costs.
It is. How's that impacting UltraTech?
They're operating in net margins specifically,
Well, the report highlights their efforts to manage costs.
which are volatile for sure.
They're focusing on energy efficiency upgrades,
Like what? Give me some examples.
cooler enhancements, calciner modifications, energy-saving bricks.
For their kilns, right?
Yep. All to combat rising energy prices,
Makes sense. But what about raw materials?
like limestone.
Yeah, huge amounts needed for cement can really affect margins.
They're on top of that, too.
How so?
Responsible mining, advanced extraction methods.
To maximize efficiency.
Right, and they're blending different grades of limestone
High grade and low grade. Smart.
to optimize costs. It's like they're pulling out all the stops.
They are, to control input costs and protect those margins.
Speaking of costs, let's look at their operating costs.
Okay, break it down for me.
Power and fuel, and then logistics.
Right?
And get this, their logistics costs actually went down in 2023.
Really? Even with their revenue going up?
Yep. They're getting more efficient.
Maybe better transport routes, fuel-efficient vehicles.
They're using technology to manage logistics.
Could be. Now, all this expansion.
Must need a lot of capital.
It did. So let's talk about their debt levels.
How's their leverage? Cash flow.
That's the big question. We know they've invested heavily.
But are they managing that debt responsibly?
That's what we'll find out in part 2 of our deep dive. Stay tuned.
Back again for more on UltraTech Cement.
Ready to keep digging.
Last time, we were wondering about their debt.
Right, after all those big expansions.
But are they on shaky ground or is it solid?
That's what we need to figure out.
The report doesn't give all the debt numbers, but
There are hints about their financial health.
like their focus on working capital management,
And generating strong cash flow.
which is crucial when you have a lot of debt.
It is. It shows they're being careful.
They also mention a shared services initiative
What's that about?
for their finance and accounting functions.
Sounds like streamlining, cutting costs.
Every little bit helps, right?
Definitely. Makes them more efficient, too.
Frees up resources,
Yeah.
improves your bottom line,
It shows they're actively managing costs.
which is so important in cement. It's capital intensive.
It is. But let's not forget sustainability.
Right. That impacts financials too.
More than people think.
Like their green logistics, saving money in the long run.
Exactly. Sustainability isn't just an expense.
UltraTech shows it can actually boost profits.
Like their renewable energy investments.
Long-term cost savings, protection from fuel price swings,
Smart move. So they're managing debt in multiple ways.
strong cash flow, cost control, smart investments.
It seems like it.
But still, I'm curious about their overall leverage.
Their debt to equity ratio, maybe interest coverage.
Yeah, any insights there?
Unfortunately, the report doesn't give specifics,
Too bad.
but their emphasis on efficiency, cash flow.
Suggests they're taking debt seriously.
Right, not taking on more than they can handle.
It's a balancing act, growth and financial stability.
It always is. But speaking of growth,
What's the outlook for UltraTech?
what are their strategies going forward?
For growth and cost control, both important.
The report paints a pretty optimistic picture.
They're confident, that's for sure.
They see the opportunity in India's infrastructure push.
And they're strengthening their brand even further.
Solid foundation for growth, for sure.
But competition's increasing in cement.
It is. How are they staying ahead?
They're betting big on innovation and technology,
Makes sense.
always developing new, sustainable products.
Like their green concrete.
Uses less traditional cement, reduces their carbon footprint.
They're not just keeping up, they're shaping the industry.
Impressive.
It shows they understand the market, what customers need.
And then they're not afraid to embrace new tech.
Exactly. Like their use of Industry 4.0.
Oh, yeah, I was reading about that.
AI-driven predictive maintenance. Right?
To reduce downtime, make plants more efficient,
They're also using AI for problem solving.
and optimizing different parts of their business.
And get this, they're even experimenting with generative AI.
Wow, that's cutting edge.
It shows they're willing to try new things.
To find better ways of doing
It
things.
gives them a real edge.
It's like they're saying, we're not just cement.
For a tech company that happens to make cement.
Exactly. But innovation alone isn't enough.
What about keeping costs under control?
How do they stay profitable in a market that can change quickly.
They're all about operational excellence.
They have a bunch of initiatives to be more efficient.
And cut costs, of course.
Optimizing manufacturing, streamlining logistics
Using digital tools for better collaboration.
across their whole network.
They're leaving no stone unturned.
Not resting on their success, always looking to improve.
It's impressive. But beyond the numbers,
Here's something else we need to talk about.
the human side of things, right?
Exactly. Their employees.
And how they create a positive work environment.
They're investing in well-being programs.
Skill development, teamwork, collaboration.
And safety. Robust protocols, training programs.
Their LTIFR, lost time injury frequency rate.
It's impressive. Shows they care about their people.
It creates a better workplace, for sure.
And enhances their reputation, makes them more stable.
It shows they're not just about profits.
So they're growing, innovating, financially smart.
And taking care of their employees.
Seems like they're doing it all right.
They are firing on all cylinders, that's for sure.
But even the best companies face challenges.
And there are always risks to consider.
Especially in a world that's changing so fast.
In Part 3, we'll explore those challenges.
And see how UltraTech is preparing for the future.
A future that's bound to have some surprises.
Stay tuned. We're back, deep divers, for the final part of our look at UltraTech Cement.
Time to wrap things up.
We've seen their growth, their sustainability focus, their smart financial moves.
They're doing a lot right, that's for sure.
But no company exists in a bubble.
True, there are always challenges out there.
Especially in today's world, things change so fast.
Like navigating a jungle. You can have the best map, but...
You got to be ready for anything. Right?
Exactly. So let's talk about potential headwinds for UltraTech.
Okay, get a little bit real with it.
What kind of challenges are we talking about?
Well, a big one for cement, and for everyone, really, is climate change.
Ah, yes. Decarbonizing is a huge task.
Cement production, it's carbon intensive.
Even with their progress, there's pressure to do more.
They've done a lot. Green logistics, RE100, renewable energy investments.
But given their size, reducing emissions further...
It's going to take a lot of innovation and probably some big investments.
It's a long game, and it's not just what they do themselves.
Right, they need their suppliers on board, too.
Even their customers.
It's like creating a whole sustainable ecosystem.
Exactly, everyone working together.
And speaking of interconnectedness, there's the global economy.
Right, things seem stable now, but...
There are always risks.
Geopolitical tensions, inflation, supply chains...
Any of those could derail UltraTech's plans.
What if scenarios, for sure.
Does the report say how they're preparing for that?
It does. They emphasize risk management.
Like having a plan, thinking ahead.
Scenario planning, stress testing.
Trying to anticipate the unexpected, have backup plans.
Smart. But some things are just out of their control.
Like the cement industry's cyclical nature.
Tied to economic growth, construction spending.
If construction slows down, they feel it.
For sure. The report acknowledges that.
But they're not just passively waiting.
No, they're diversifying.
Expanding geographically, new product lines.
Ready-mix, concrete, white cement.
It's like not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. Spreading the risk. But even then...
They need to be adaptable, right?
To changing markets. And that's where their focus on innovation shines.
Always developing new products, meeting new needs.
Investing in digital tools to connect with customers better.
And leveraging their brand, their dealer network.
It's a resilient model.
Able to withstand changes, adapt to the future.
But let's not forget the people aspect.
Attracting and keeping great talent, that's key.
It is, especially in a competitive market.
The report talks about their commitment to employees.
Well-being, skill development, a positive workplace.
Leadership development, too. Succession planning.
They're thinking long-term, making sure they have strong leaders.
It's those things often that make a company truly great.
Absolutely. So we've had a deep dive into UltraTech Cement.
Seeing their successes, their commitment to doing good.
Their smart financial strategies, their awareness of risks.
It's been a fascinating look at a company at the top of its game.
Navigating a world that's complex and ever-changing.
They're embracing sustainability, pushing innovation.
Staying focused on operational excellence.
And taking care of their people.
It leaves us with a question to think about.
In a world facing climate change, resource limits.
What role will companies like UltraTech play?
In creating a more sustainable way to build our world.
It's something to consider as this industry evolves.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.